Welcome to Healing Her Feminine, the podcast for high-functioning women ready to stop performing wellness and to start embodying it. I am your host, Lindsay Alexis, a somatic and functional healing practitioner. Here you'll find grounded insights, soul-led healing, and practical tools to support your hormones, nervous system, and get back to your feminine rhythm. Let's begin. Most women try to fix themselves with action before creating a foundation. So imagine you decide that you are going to finally get healthy. You're going to do the right thing. You're going to start meal planning and prepping. You're going to buy the supplements. You're going to sign up at your local gym, maybe a yoga class or two, and then you buy the workout clothes, etc. And 3 weeks later, you're exhausted and overwhelmed, and nothing that you're doing is sticking. You don't feel any different than you did 3 weeks ago. And a lot of the time, not only do you not feel any different, despite your consistency, you have actually gained weight instead of lost it. And you know that you haven't gained it in muscle. So a lot of times when this happens, us as women, we feel like we have failed. We feel like we're doing something wrong. Something isn't clicking. Why is it not working? And all of this banter just starts going on in our head. But the truth is that you haven't failed. You actually haven't done anything wrong. You've just missed that crucial first step that prevents you from weight loss, prevents you from healing, prevents you from seeing the results you want in an actual fast manner. You are building on empty. And what I mean by that is it's like trying to remodel a house while the foundation is crumbling. No matter how beautiful the new paint is, or the wallpaper, or the appliances, the foundation is not strong. And eventually you'll start to see those cracks, and it'll settle, and the house will settle, and it'll show through the walls and cracks in the walls, okay? That's why before you do anything else on your healing journey, especially if you're already here doing the things and showing up every day and you're not seeing the results, I can tell you what the number one thing is. Your body needs rest. Yep. Your body needs to rest. So rest is when the body repairs tissues. It helps it to balance hormones, process nutrients, do its detoxing, and it also restores your energy. Think about when you are a kid, right? And you're in those crucial teenage years, in puberty, and you're growing and your hormones are changing. What do you want to do all the time as a teenager? Sleep. Your body wants to sleep because your body wants to heal itself. It wants to restore itself back to homeostasis through rest. And I know I can hear you guys now. I'm a mom. I work a full-time job. I can hear all the things. We go to soccer, we go do this and that. I have to show up at this place. I have this responsibility, that responsibility. I get it. I myself am a single mom of 2 kids. I, at one point, was working a 10-hour, 12-hour night shift and going to school in the morning right after work, going home, taking a quick nap, and then going to get the kids from school before their father could come pick them up from my place, and repeat the cycle. I've been there, I've done it. And every single time I have burnt out. And I'm sure that that's where you guys are as well. You're trying all the things, you're doing all the things correctly, but none of it is sticking. And it's because your body is literally telling you it needs rest. So another way to think about this is if your body was like a phone battery, right? If you keep using it without plugging it in, it's going to shut down. No matter how many new apps you download or storage you clear, if you don't keep your phone charged, that battery is going to die. The two biggest enemies of rest are our craving to be in control and our inability to be still. I'll say it again. Our biggest enemies of rest are our craving to be in control and our inability to be still. Rest is an act of surrender, acknowledging that God is God or the universe is the universe, whatever your faith is, whatever you believe in, acknowledging that there is something greater that is holding all of this together. That is not you. Know and rest in knowing that you are held, you are provided for, and it is okay to let go. It is safe to let go. And I think a lot of us women do not give ourselves permission to rest. We think that we have to be there for everybody at every moment of the day, and we burn out. We burn out over and over and over again because we are relentless, really relentless. At the same time, we're resilient and we get complimented on our resiliency. And that just reinforces that cycle of go, go, go and no rest. And a lot of times I've seen a lot of women who know that they need to rest. And they're like, okay, I will, turn all the electronics off an hour before bed today. And then they go to do that and it gets uncomfortable 10 to 15 minutes in. And so what do? They reach for their phone, right? Or check what they're supposed to be doing tomorrow. It's that dopamine fix that we have become addicted to by that continuous, constant contact of stimulation. And it overwhelms the body. And that's where your burnout comes from. That's where a lot of hormonal issues stem from, is because we're not resting. We're either not resting or we're not getting enough movement. Sometimes it's both. So I want you to take away from this today that rest is an act of surrender, and surrender can very much be very hard. Acknowledging that, actually giving yourself permission, that's what I want to say, giving yourself permission to take the time out, even if it's just 5 minutes, to step outside, get some fresh air, and come right back to what you're doing. You can do 3 to 4, 5-minute sessions throughout the day, and that adds up. That adds up to a half hour, right? If you do it 6 times throughout the day, 5-minute increments. And that helps your body feel safe. It helps your body release stress, release the cortisol, and filter through it, okay? We'll get more into the fundamentals and scientificness behind, or the biology behind all of this as we go through the podcast today and moving forward. There will be a lot of, science and spiritual elements together in this podcast. A lot of times too with rest, we are told that that's laziness, right? And a lot of women have this mentality that if they stop doing something, the ball is going to be dropped, that something isn't going to go correctly. And I've seen this to the point where women's menstrual cycles are irregular. Sometimes they skip it. Sometimes it's very light, sometimes very heavy, and their hormones are all over the place. Moodiness, tiredness, lack of energy, you name it. I've seen hair thinning from this. And their body is just really like begging for stillness. And this is kind of where I tie in the spirituality, because no matter what you believe in, rest is something that's needed to regulate emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Okay. And if you want to go back to scripture, we can pull scripture in right now. And this is a perfect thing. If you know Genesis, what happened on the seventh day? God created all of these things within 6 days. And what did he do on the seventh day? He rested, right? He didn't rest because he was tired. He rested to show us that rest is holy. It's sacred. It is something that we should be doing in mindfulness of ourselves. Better yet, let's push it and say in gratitude of ourselves. Look at the things we have done. Now let's rest, rejoice, recalibrate, right? And then we can move on to the next thing. I don't think that we take enough time out to reflect. There's a lot of words, but I don't think we take a lot of time out to reflect on the things that we accomplish in a day, in an hour, in a week, in a month. Again, especially as women, and then especially as moms. We do a lot. There is a lot on our plate, and I think that we definitely deserve rest, and it's okay to rest. The world is not going to fall apart if you rest. Another example of this in scripture is Luke 5:16. Jesus withdrew to quiet places to pray. There is the fish and the bread, right? The bread and the fish and the bread. He saw the crowd coming and he went on the mountain. And that's where the idea came to him of how they were going to split the loaves and the fish to all these people that were showing up. So imagine standing in that crowd in Luke 5:16 and seeing Jesus walk away, even though there are more people to heal. He's walking around healing all of these people, and then he just leaves. That is an example of intentional rest. You're in the thick of it. There's a lot of stuff going on around you. It's stressful. And you say, I just need a timeout. And you go for a timeout. Again, that 5-minute increment could change everything for your day. Choosing to recharge before pouring out again so that you avoid burnout. So if God and Jesus modeled rest, then it's not optional for us. It's essential. Going back from spiritual to scientific now, rest activates the parasympathetic nervous system. That's your rest and digest. It's even in the name. This allows your hormones to do what they need to do. It helps them communicate properly. It helps your brain communicate with the organs. It helps balance things out. It helps bring your body back into homeostasis. Proper nutrient absorption. That's another thing that I see with a lot of women is this. I'm taking all of these supplements. I'm eating all these greens. I'm eating the protein, the right amount. Why is my hair still falling out? Why am I still not sleeping well at night? It's because your body isn't absorbing the nutrients properly. because it doesn't feel safe, because you aren't allowing it to rest. You continue to push and push and push, and it's in fight, flight, freeze. So it's not going to have that nutrient absorption, and you're not going to see the benefits of all the effort that you're putting in. I'm pretty sure you guys are putting in a lot of effort when it comes to your health, especially as we get older and we get closer to menopause. If you're not already in menopause, there's a lot of things that we try to do nutritionally and through movement and exercise to help ease those symptoms of menopause. And it'll all go out the window if your body doesn't feel safe to properly function. And that, like I said, includes absorbing nutrients. So another benefit of resting as well is it reduces the inflammation in your body. And chronic inflammation, that persists months, years, that's where a lot of our chronic illnesses start to develop, is through that inflammation in our body. High cortisol levels, unbalanced hormones, it all impacts the way that your body functions. And again, it can trigger your genetics, your genes, your DNA to flip switches and turn things on that are supposed to be off. This is a lot of times where we start to see cancer show up, because the genes that make your cells replicate without control, which is what cancer is, are turned on. And it's this chronic fatigue, chronic stress, chronic inflammation, anything chronic is what is activating all of these things to happen. So think of a time you came back from even a short break or a nap, right? The clarity, patience, and energy that you had afterwards. Now imagine giving your body that gift regularly. Think of the reset that happens. Think about if you went for a massage, right? And then you come back, you feel like you can do more. I'm not telling you to do more. Please don't do more. But you have the ability to take on more. You're not as anxious. You're not as reactive, right? You are more present. And ultimately, that is the goal of our day-to-day life, is to be present. Something about healing your feminine is to continue to be in the present. There is a saying that one of my coaches said is, and I don't know if she got it from somebody, but it is, you can look at your past and you can look at your future, but understand that nobody lives there. Nobody no longer lives in the past. Nobody lives in your future. You have no clue what's going to happen tomorrow, so there's no point in living there. You have no ability to change the past. It's already happened. So nobody lives there. The gift you have is today and being present. And if you're overworked, anxious, low energy, you're missing out on being present with yourself, with your family, with your friends, whatever, fill in the blank, right? And that's a gift. That in and of itself, being present, is a gift. And like I said, it's the ultimate goal. It brings peace. It brings a lot of benefits to your life when you can live in the present. So how can we fix this? Okay. Like I said, you can do 5-minute increments throughout the day. 6 of them is 30 minutes a day that you are resetting and recalibrating and letting your body know that it is safe. Another thing you can do is 30 minutes before bedtime, turn the phones off, shut it down, be still. It's okay to be still. It's okay to be in silence. You can also go to bed 30 minutes earlier, and that sometimes helps. Take a weekend once a month and don't schedule anything. Don't plan anything. Don't schedule anything. One weekend every month. Just let it be free and be present with whatever happens that weekend. Do not fill it. Enjoy it. Go on a nature walk. Go fishing. Go kayaking. Go roller skating. Go anywhere. Do something different. Change up your routine and don't fill it with a to-do list on the weekend. Enjoy your time. And then every day I do this, go for a walk with no agenda, not to hit an exercise goal, nothing. Just go for a walk. It can be a 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk, whatever you want to do. It could be a half mile, it could be 3 miles. Totally up to you. Just get outside and go for a walk for no purpose other than to reset. Rest is not time lost. It's energy invested. There was a lady I worked with who just did the 5 minutes thing after lunch every day. That was it. And by her doing that 5 minutes, she no longer got those afternoon crashes, the ones you get like 2, 3, 4 p.m. And she didn't change anything else. She didn't change her caffeine intake. She didn't change the food she was eating. Didn't increase her exercise. Just took 5 minutes out of her day after lunch and just had moments of quiet. Went for a walk. That's all it takes. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think that's another thing that we struggle with as women is things have to be perfect. Shoot, me with this first episode of this podcast, all day today, I was like, I need to do it this way. I need to make sure I do it that way. Because I used to have a podcast many years ago and life happened and I stopped doing it. And now the way things are being done with podcasts are completely different than when I was doing it, 6 years ago or so. So anyways, I think, it doesn't have to be perfect. Done over perfection. Have it done over perfection. And that's something that I'm actually teaching my daughter right now. Done is better than perfection. So there are times where obviously it should be, better, but give yourself some grace. Allow yourself to rest. So I have something for all of you listening. If you are ready to create mornings that support your healing instead of draining you, then I have a free gift for you. It is my 7-day morning rituals blueprint, and every single day it walks you through a new habit, small, simple, doable, busy lifestyle, one step at a time. And across these 7 days, you build on the last habit and you continue, and then by the 7th day, you have 7 different things. Again, simple, doable, like less than a minute tasks, until you have this full routine, 10, 15 minutes tops, maybe 20 if you spend some more time on something than you want, that you need to just because you want to, like gratitudes and things like that. But these are habits that will help you start your day off on the right foot, rested, grounded, and energized. And like I said, you repeat these every single week. you'll see such great results within a month's time, I promise you. So you can go get it. I'm going to drop the link below in the description box, but it is at Lindsay Alexis, ALEXIS.co/7-day morning ritual. And there's dashes in between those. So like I said, that'll be in the description box. And I really encourage you guys, if you are struggling with resting, if you are struggling with your energy, if you are struggling with just chaos in general in the morning, and you want a calmer start to your mornings, and you really want to set your day up on the right foot, then this PDF, this download is for you. And like I said, it is free. And last but not least, I want to leave today with this, that rest isn't something you do after you've done the things, after you've healed or feel like you're healing. Rest is what makes the healing possible. It's an act of faith. It's an act of surrender. It's an act of alignment with the way we were designed to live. We were designed to be in abundance. We were designed for prosperity. We were designed for so much good. And this is where the rest comes in at. So start there. Like I said, 5 minutes a day or multiple 5-minute increments every day. Get yourself the morning rituals blueprint and just start there and watch how every other part of your healing that you're already doing starts to flourish. The pieces will start clicking in together. So, since this is the first podcast, I will be back for the next couple of days, and then we'll switch to weekly podcasts. So, if you're catching this today, hopefully you will come back tomorrow and you will catch the next episode. If not, then you will hear from me. I won't hear from you, but you will hear from me the next time you join into Healing Her Feminine. And thank you guys so much for being here and listening to this very first